I I I I can't. I can't. There's some kind of wall. Hello. Ch- ch- why does it sound wooden? Why does it? The joke is there are Mr. Mimes back there. Get it? And now I'm the only clown you're looking at. Hi everybody, it's me, Ben Wheeler. Welcome to today's episode of Is This Your Card? A stream on the Loading Ready Run network where we play game. And that game is going to be a rotating digital card game. Okay? Last week, and even last month, we played a digital card game called Legends of Runeterra. And Legends of Runeterra pulled from the universe created by Riot Games that is often associated with League of Legends PC Edition. And so that was a game that draws already from an absolute titan. When it comes to video games. So I decided for the second month, we take a little bit, just a tiny bit of a dip into an indie title. And so we will be looking at a game drawing on, I think some movies were made. Like maybe there's a TV show. But eventually we got to a card game series. A card game series called Pokemon Pocket Monsters. And, you know, I imagine the folks with this fine game started somewhere. Much like how the start to a good and healthy loading ready run is the Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, because of the support that we receive through all y'all. From that, I'm able to play Pokemon, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that sounds good enough. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Your help helps us. And it's not confirmed, but James says that every episode I get an additional tiny Pokemon plushie. Now, I'm not a big plushie guy. My husband's the plushie gay of the family. That said, I have a couple. They're not in viewing. These clowns over here, that's a different story. They haunt me. I'm a tiny plushie guy. I like a very specific thing, and it's for me only, and occasionally for bits like this. So these little tigers are going to sit on my desk here. It's going to sit on my desk here. And James might buy me a new one every week. We haven't worked this out yet, and I'm just lying, just bold-faced lying to each and every one of you. But with your support, who knows? Speaking of support, well, we're not at trainer cards yet, Ben. And that's a good joke if you know something about the Pokemon game. But if you don't, let me fix that. So for the first month of Is This Your Card, we talked about Legends of Runeterra, which is a bit interesting because we already had the first episode effectively where we learn how to play Legends of Runeterra, like in December of last year. And that was last year, as a bonus stream, as a testing the waters, seeing how people feel. So we kind of jumped right into it. We jumped right into gaming and started winning everything that was within our greedy grasp. But for Pokemon, I mean, we kind of also did that too. We did a one-off Pokemon stream, but we didn't go in depth. And well, there's been a bit of a burst of people liking Pokemon, playing Pokemon, and interested in playing Pokemon. And I imagine a lot of those people either are familiar with the games. I almost called them Game Boy games, but it's 2021. Or they're kind of just familiar with the card game. Maybe they played when they were younger. I know I played when I was younger, and I've kind of played on and off since base set, since the first one. And one of the big things about the digital component of the game is that It's free to get. You can get your cards. You can play against people. And there's a fun way of playing. There are several fun ways of playing that are real cheap. And you can play on your phone and or iPad or tablet. I know that James was saying that he plays on the toilet or in bed, one of the two. I forget which one was the least embarrassing. But it's a fun game that you can pick up, knowing the rules. You could play in multiple spots, and you can get a little nostalgic. So let's start from the beginning. Today's episode, I'm going to cover how to play the game, all the different kinds of cards in the game, as well as, how do you get cards? And what do you do with them? And for that, we need to kind of break down the three main types of cards. So, Ben, you're all saying to yourselves, how do I play Pokemon? Well, I'm glad you asked. There are three primary types of Pokemon cards. You with me? You have the Pokemon, this little friend over here. Or I guess this one if you really want to. This one seems a little more jovial. You have the trainer cards. Ultimately not as cute as the charming little Pokemon, I'm sure. And the energy cards. Similarly, not as cute as the small little animals that you wield the elements, but we'll get there. But let's start with Pokemon, the building blocks of the Pokemon game. Here is a Pokemon card. Shocking, I know. We're going to go through all the different types of Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards, not Pokemon cards. The Pokemon cards in Pokemon. Just so y'all know what the differences are. I'm only going to focus on the ones that are currently in standard. So basically the more, the stuff that's new, the stuff that's fresh, because if we're going to backtrack across, 20 plus years of game development, well, we're going to be here for a while. So let's start by looking at something that people might know. Thankfully, Charmander and the line of Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard are pretty iconic. So I imagine a lot of people are going to know what these Pokemon are. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier to understand. This is Charmander. Charmander, as you can see in the top left corner, is a basic Pokemon. By that, it means that nothing evolves into Charmander. Your starting spot is Charmander. Over on the right-hand side, we can see a couple of numbers there. Well, one if you add them together. The 70. And we can see a little red symbol there, a fire. The 70 there is the HP, the hit points, if you will. Basically, that's how much damage Pokemon can take. Charmander has 70 HP. When damage is dealt to Pokemon, you put damage counters on the Pokemon cards to represent that. There are other games where, say, Magic the Gathering, the damage fades at the end of the turn. It's not going to carry over between turns. Games like Legends of Runeterra, where it is demonstrated on the card, its hit points or toughness will be going down. A new number appears. Pokemon, we were ahead of the game. You put damage counters on there. So the counters are going to be represented in increments of 10, as you can see. So 70 hit points. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but Charmander's 2 attacks there deal 10 and 20. It all works out. The fire symbol up there is designating that Charmander is a fire type. In the Pokemon video game, there are 19 different types, I believe. That's a lot. And that's a bit of a balancing nightmare. I think that's pretty safe to say. In the Pokemon card game, that has been kind of trimmed. Some types are consolidated. Certain Pokemon with multiple types will instead have one as opposed to the other. And some of them don't really exist and might be a bit confusing. And on certain cards, they might have, multiple types representing that. Now, Charmander is a fire type, and that's it. There's no other Charmander. Charmander is and always will be, well, I shouldn't say always will be, because who knows, a fire type. But let's take Coughing's a good example. Coughing in the video game is a poison type. Now there's a giant purple eye up there, and that's not representing poison. In fact, that's what's used to represent psychic. So, Coughing's not a psychic type. So poison types were at a time represented by psychic. That has now changed. As you can see on this copy of Coughing, Coughing's represented by a dark type. Coughing isn't a dark type in the game. And if we had an even earlier copy of Coughing, it may have been represented by a grass type. So as you can see, certain types, poison in this case, has gone through a couple of balances and checks and some updates. But really just kind of talking about the main ones, you have dark, as I'm sure some of you are familiar with. Dark, you're going to have fairy. I believe fairy is completely rotated out of the game, though it will still pop up with some of the cards we see. You have fighting. Fighting in the game is going to cover fighting types, rock types, ground types. You have fire. It kind of just covers fire. Grass. So the grass types are going to be, well, grass, bug, and in older versions it may have covered poison. But for now, let's stick to grass and bug. Lightning. Again, unless they have updated it and I'm going by older terms, you might be familiar with them as electric types. And here, let's go with lightning. Metal. Again, steel, metal. You get the picture. Psychic. This is typically going to be psychic types, ghost types, and I believe the updated fairy type. When they cut fairy, they kind of lump them all into psychic. Water, it's going to cover water. It's going to cover ice. Cold things that are occasionally wet. There isn't a great example of colorless energy. I'm going to use one of these just to showcase it. See this? The little diamond thing. You might be familiar with the whole diamond mana or generic mana from Magic the Gathering. That's representing colorless. Colorless usually just covers normal types, flying types, and occasionally dragon. There is a dragon energy. We might not come across that. We will come across a dragon type, but again, it's rarer, right? It's rarer. So yeah, those are the different types. A lot of stuff kind of is bundled together for the sake of balance purposes, but you get the picture. Sure. Thank you, game. You allowed me to misspell this name. So as you can see, Charmander has 2 attacks like we covered. The attacks have their own names, Gnaw and Flare. In the middle, on the right-hand side, they're going to have the amount of damage they deal. Gnaw deals 10 damage. Flare deals 20 damage. On the left-hand side, you're going to see the cost for these attacks. These are effectively the energy requirements. We're going to get to energies at the end, but all you need to know right now is that energies are resources, right? You need 1 fire energy attached to Charmander in order to use Gnaw. Using Gnaw as your attack is going to deal 10 damage. Sticking with me? For Flare, we need 1 fire energy and then 1 generic. It can be a colorless energy. It could be another fire energy. Hell, it could be a water energy. Now, don't go telling old Mr. Pokemon, though. Just kidding. But if you have those 2 energies, then you can use Flare, and Flare is going to deal 20 damage. I'll cover more of the specifics once we get to the energy section, but energies are effectively the resources you use for attacking, and for, as we're going to see in a second, retreating. So let's say you're a coward, and Charmander's out there, and you don't want Charmander to be fighting. You want to protect Charmander. That's understandable. Maybe you want to protect Charmander because your opponent has a water type. And as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a bar that says weakness. It then shows the water type times 2. That means that all damage that Charmander is going to receive from water types is going to be doubled, because fire, and Charmander specifically here, is weak to water. This isn't the case for every single fire type, again, because a lot of things are going to be consolidated, because you'll have a lot of Pokemon that in the actual game, they could be fire flying, or they could be fire dragon, that sort of thing. They might not be weak to water. They could be weak to fighting types, or they could be weak to psychic types. They might not even have a weakness. So it's going to be from a Pokemon to Pokemon basis. There's a thing over there that says resistance, and then nothing, because Charmander doesn't have a resistance. Some Pokemon do, however. For instance, you could have a grass type that has a resistance to water, because, as we all know, if you try to water a grass Pokemon, it will just say thank you, and then give you a small tip, but it's not a good tip. It's like, what, 10% maybe? I mean, who are we to judge? I digress. Charmander doesn't have a resistance. Some Pokemon will, and again, it's kind of by a Pokemon basis. PBPB, as you might be familiar. And then there's retreat. So again, remember, we're a coward, and we want to protect our Charmander, who's also a coward. Charmander has a retreat cost of 1. So once per turn, when we're playing the game, you can retreat Charmander. You can basically say, Charmander, stop fighting. It's not worth it, babe. Come back, at the cost of a single energy. So 1 energy will be discarded from Charmander, and Charmander hides. We're going to put this all into context when we get to the part where it lets us, fight someone and go through the tutorial. But this is basically the layout of a basic Pokemon. Moving very, very slightly up the ladder, we have a Stage 1 Pokemon. And by gosh golly, he's using Charmeleon as the example. So as some of you are aware, and spoiler alert if you're not, Charmeleon evolves from Charmander. Charmander being a basic Pokemon, Charmeleon being the Stage 1 evolution of Charmander. That means that you can't just play Charmeleon. No, you have to evolve your Charmander into a Charmeleon. You see up in that top left corner, it says, hey, Stage 1 evolves from Charmander. Now, you can't evolve a Pokemon the same turn you've played it. So you can't slap down a Charmander and then immediately evolve it into a Charmeleon. It doesn't work that way. Evolving a Pokemon takes friendship, courage, cooperation, hard work, occasionally a Thunderstone. You might have to find a friend with a link cable. I just dated myself. You get the picture. You can't do it immediately. Now, there are ways that you can kind of force that, but even then, cards that typically force evolutions will say, but not on the turn you played it. So Stage 1 Pokemon, they have all the same kind of setup. They got the attacks, HP, the type, retreat cost, weakness. Typically, they will be a bit stronger. They'll attack for more. They'll have a higher HP. You get the picture. It's the newer model, so it's probably going to be a bit better. Very easy, very basic. Now, this is where the real spoilers kick in. This is Charizard. He's pretty cool. He's a giant dragon. They really seem to like this guy because a lot of people seem to like Charizard. Charizard's a Stage 2 Pokemon. A Stage 2 Pokemon is 1 stage above Stage 1. And that concludes my TED Talk. To get up to Charizard, you got to have your Charmander evolve into a Charmeleon. You got to evolve your Charmeleon into a Charizard. You get the picture? Stage 2 Pokemon, much like how Stage 1 are going to be bigger and badder than the basics, Stage 2, they're pretty good. They got a lot more HP. As you can see, Charizard here has 150 HP, and they got some pretty strong attacks, right? You got a lot more power going on. A lot of Stage 2 and even some Stage 1 and some basics once we get there, Pokemon have abilities. So an ability isn't exactly an attack, right? Attacks, you can use them only once per turn, and your turn ends when you use them. Abilities are going to occasionally be static abilities, as in, say, it could say ability. Charizard is always cool. Great, a static ability. Or ability, Charizard is always cool as long as it's your active Pokemon. Hey, great, thanks. Charizard's ability here, Roaring Resolve, says once during your turn, before you can attack, do a thing, right? Abilities are pretty good. There are a lot of very powerful Pokemon that have abilities, and there are a lot of pretty powerful strategies that look to take advantage of them. So that's the basic bread and butter kind of Pokemon, right? Occasionally you'll run into this style of Pokemon. There's certainly going to be the primary style of Pokemon showcased either today or tomorrow. As we move on right now and later in the weeks, you're going to see that we can do a little bit better. We can hit a little harder, if you will. So let's move on to a couple of the other interesting types of Pokemon that you can have. Did I have a good Charizard for this? I don't think I have a good Charizard for this. I think I have a good Blastoise for this, maybe. I was trying to pick a good example for this. How about you? Let's go with a new example. So, keeping it with the trend of starter Pokemon, this is Inteleon. Inteleon is the water starter Pokemon from the newest, I was going to say release, Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? So it's kind of the water equivalent. If you knew about Blastoise back in 97, Inteleon is the more modern version of that. And much like Charizard, Inteleon is a Stage 2 Pokemon. But what if I told you we could have a basic Inteleon? That's right. Here's Pokemon V, or Inteleon V. So Pokemon V, they're a little different. They're a little special. There's a couple of ways that you can identify whether or not you've got a Pokemon V on your hands. One, notice how the art is a little bit fuller. There's a little bit more going on, right? It's stylized. It's got its own stylized frame. It's got a stylized V up at the top in the frame, but it also has a stylized V on the name right next to Inteleon. One thing you might also notice is that this is a basic Pokemon. So we don't even need to evolve it from anything. We can just play it as though it's a basic Pokemon. Pokemon V, or V Pokemon, whichever one you want to go with. I think the official name is Pokemon V, as it says everywhere, but you're just going to call it V, etc., etc. They are charged up. So whereas this version of Inteleon I was showing you has 160 HP, the Pokemon V over here, Inteleon V, has 200 HP. That's a lot. It also has an attack. It's got its 2 attacks down here. Notice how one of its attacks does 130 damage just by itself. That's also pretty cool and good and a lot. So typically, Pokemon V are going to be really juiced up, and they're going to be considered basic Pokemon, even if canonically they are evolved forms. So that's throw everything you know about evolution out the window. There is, however, a cost. There is a cost because when we're playing a game of Pokemon, right, the objective is to knock out our opponent's Pokemon or take their prizes. When you start a game of Pokemon, each player lays down 6 prizes from their deck. Again, we're going to see that as we go along, but that's basically the life points, and it kind of mirrors you sitting down for a Pokemon battle. Normal Pokemon, when they're knocked out, you get one prize, right? You knock out one Pokemon, you get one prize. Pokemon V, however, because they're kind of good, they have at the bottom a V rule. When a Pokemon V is knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prizes. So while they're better, they're bigger, they're badder in a good way, when they're knocked out, they get additional prizes. This is going to be something that we'll see is used as a kind of a balancing act, kind of a way that the game itself deals with power creep. Whether or not it deals with it in an elegant way is a different story. There's some debate surrounding that. Oftentimes they kind of just say, things are getting more powerful, numbers are getting bigger, people want bigger things. Okay, let's give them the biggest things possible. And then you get this kind of thing. For those of you mentioning Pokemon EX in chat, yeah, it's basically the modern version of that. If you played Pokemon previously, Pokemon V are going to be a lot like Pokemon EX from the black and white era, I want to say. If you're new to the game, ignore what I'm saying. But yeah, this is something that might be a little bit familiar with. Then, this Inteleon's pretty cool. But what if we went a little bit bigger? What if we went a little bit bigger? Welcome to Pokemon V Max. Pokemon V Max evolve from Pokemon V, meaning that this Inteleon V Max evolves from Inteleon V. So again, there are a couple of little special notes about this. They got bigger art. They've got cool stylization. They are reminiscent of, if you've played the video games, the Dynamax, Gigantamax, or Eternamax Pokemon. And if you're not familiar with the video games, this is all purely stylistic. So whether or not it's a Dynamax or a Gigantamax, that doesn't matter for playing the game. It just matters for the artwork. Just note that they are VMAX, that they evolve from V Pokemon. So you could not evolve this boring old Inteleon into the Inteleon VMAX. You would need an Inteleon V. This Inteleon VMAX has 320 HP. That's a lot. That's a lot of HP. That's an absurdly high number. Inteleon VMAX also does some absurdly high damage. And this is not even that big in the scale of this style of Pokemon, as you'll see. But again, there's a cost. There's a cost that comes with it. So much like how the Pokemon V, when they were knocked out, 2 prizes would be taken. For Pokemon V Max, when they're knocked out, 3 prizes are taken. 3 prizes. That's half. That's half of all of your starting prizes. That's a lot. And for those of you that aren't entirely familiar with the prizes still, effectively, when you knock this out, you get 3 new cards into your hand for you to use and kill your opponent with. That's a lot. That's a lot of cards. So again, there's a genuine cost that comes to playing these kind of cards. One of the things that's really appealing about the Pokemon card game to me, and the way that they have handled the power creep and balancing it through the normal Pokemon, the Pokemon V and the Pokemon V Max, is that you kind of, like, different decks will use different ones, right? Like Pokemon V and Pokemon V Max are going to be certainly very popular, right? They'll show up quite a lot. They're big, they're powerful, they're splashy. But there are strategies that will specifically use normal Pokemon. They'll use normal Pokemon that have abilities that basically trade up. So that, yeah, you might knock out my one normal dinky winky Pokemon and you get a single prize, but you have to do that 6 times. I only have to kill 2 of your Pokemon or 3 of your Pokemon. So there's an interesting trade-off. It leads to a really fun dynamic when it comes to matchups and playing against other decks, is that you end up finding yourself playing against decks where you feel as though you have the power of a god. Like you could be playing a deck where you're like literally playing a Pokemon god who has the ability to strike down and one-shot anything that comes in its path. And it's up against a dinky teacup that's inhabited by a ghost. The teacup dies, the god gets 1 little prize card. But that teacup is probably seeing play because it has the ability to kill this massive VMAX or GX Pokemon, right? So it leads to something, this incredibly interesting matchup system where, oh god, I'm like, you will fight somebody playing very, like, again, not as flashy kind of cards, and you will go, oh my god, I'm going to die. Because you are going to be hitting them with a giant hammer, but it's like dropping an ant off a skyscraper, basically. For somebody asking, there are going to be multiple versions of cards. There are only so many Pokemon in the game, which is a weird thing to say now that I think we're above 800 at this point. Don't worry about it. But another way that it'll pop up is that instead of, having new Pokemon for the card game, they're going to be like, all right, here's Inteleon, but in board shorts. Here's Inteleon, but new haircut. Instead, there will just be different versions of the same Pokemon with different abilities, different attacks, which again leads to some very interesting and unique deck building. Inteleon actually just happens to be a great example. There is a deck that's quite popular in the standard format right now that uses Inteleon. It tends to use Inteleon V and Inteleon V Max, but it also uses the normal Inteleons because they will have a lot of overlapping themes. A lot of the cards, even if they are different versions of it, they're drawing from a character that is effectively being designed in a certain way. So Inteleon as a character is kind of designed as like a sniper almost. Like Inteleon has a design of being like a great shot, right? So you'll see a lot of recurring themes on these cards where they'll do damage to Pokemon that isn't necessarily the active Pokemon. So you can kind of build on those themes of doing a very specific thing just in different ways. And that can also lead to subverting expectations from your opponent of thinking, oh, they'll only have one type of Inteleon, and then boom, they've got a different kind. And they might be preparing for the first kind, and they're not ready for the second. Oh, they're not ready for the second. So that's, there's going to be different versions, and often when you look at deck lists, they will specify, this Inteleon, this number, this Inteleon, or this, they used to do it by levels. That's not kind of the thing anymore, but you get the picture. There's a couple more types that you'll run into, although as time moves on, running into them is going to be less of an issue because they're kind of getting phased out. Let's put it that way. So here are Pokemon GX. Pokemon GX share a couple of similarities to, say, Pokemon V, right? They got the full art, they have higher stats, they do more damage, all that jazz. They are different in a couple of very key ways, though. Notice how this is a Charizard that says you have to evolve from a Charmeleon. So this Charizard GX still has to evolve from a Charmeleon, right? And note that it doesn't say Charizard Charmeleon GX or anything like that. It can evolve from any Charmeleon as long as it's called Charmeleon. It has the giant GX next to its name. That's another great way of knowing you have a Pokemon GX on your hand. And much like, say, Pokemon V, when a Pokemon GX is knocked out, 2 prizes are taken, right? So it's got the bigger stats, more powerful moves, bigger art, special name that you can track, special rule when it gets knocked out. However, unlike Pokemon V, they stay true to their evolutionary line. So for all you purists out there that got tummy aches from seeing a basic, technically a basic of a fully evolved Pokemon, it's okay. Come on back. You can look at these Pokemon GX. One other key feature, and dare I say the defining feature of Pokemon GX, is that they have GX moves. As you can see, Charizard over here has an attack called Flamethrower. Boring text. 2 red, or 2 fire, 2 colorless, 140 damage. There isn't even an italic font. But Flare Blitz GX. Oh, you got the GX next to it. You got a cool bar. You've got italic font. Same energy cost, and it does 300 damage. I took out my calculator, and I tried to see whether or not 140 times 2 would get up to 300. My calculator doesn't even go that high. It maxed out. That's more than twice the amount of damage of Flamethrower. Why would I ever use Flamethrower when I can use Flare Blitz GX? Well, that's because, like it says directly beneath the card, you can't use more than 1 GX attack in a game. If you've played the video games, you might be familiar with Z moves, or as we call it in Canada, Z moves. Not a thing. So you can only use 1 of these in any given game. But often, they're pretty good. They're pretty cool. They do a lot. This one's extremely boring, but it's also a great example because it's Charizard, mana cost, or energy cost, all that jazz. You get what I'm saying, all right? Don't hold this against me, please. When you actually get into a game, you are going to see actually a little like counter that says whether or not a player has used their GX attack for the game. So that's kind of a nice way of tracking that. And it's 1 GX attack per game. So if I play a Charizard and I use this GX attack and I hit them with a Flare Blitz, later on, I can't play this Charizard, ignore the other part, with this GX attack. I can't use that yet. I can't use that because I've already used the GX attack. So yeah. On to the card that I just showed y'all. The last card type that I'm really going to focus on is Tag Team GX. So, we got the big art. We got the cool attacks. We've got massive numbers. These are some big numbers up here. These are some big numbers. And I think y'all also notice there's 2 Pokemon on here. There's 2 Pokemon on here. We have Reshiram and Charizard. Reshiram being the white fire dragon above Charizard, the orange fire dragon. Ways to know that you're looking at a tag team card is, well, there's 2 Pokemon. There's the giant GX near their name, and there's also a giant block of yellow text, yellow and black, that says Tag Team. Back again. At the bottom, there's also a block that says Tag Team Rule, letting you know you have a Tag Team Pokemon. These are basic Pokemon. I don't care if Charizard has to evolve from Charmander to Charmeleon, Charmeleon to Charizard. This is a basic Pokemon. I don't care that there's another Pokemon here. It's a basic Pokemon. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, Ben, that sounds kind of gross. I would hate to fight these, and you're right, but also they have that little tag team rule at the bottom there that says when your tag team is knocked out, an opponent takes 3 prizes. So much like how VMAX Pokemon, when they're knocked out, player takes 3 prizes, the tag team GX, when they're knocked out, takes 3 prizes. typically you're going to see, and I say typically, although I think it is just every single one, every single tag team is going to feature 2 Pokemon of the same type. So again, Charizard, fire type. Also a flying type, but it's a fire type. Reshiram is a fire type. Also a dragon type, but it's a fire type. So hey, this card's a fire type. These cards are also GX Pokemon. So they have a lot of the same rules and a lot of the same overlap in what effects will, count them as GX Pokemon. And they also have GX moves. Charizard and Reshiram has the GX move of Double Blaze. Notably, the GX attacks on the tag team Pokemon, they have a plus next to them. So note that it has 3 fire energies plus. That's because all of the tag team GX moves have a theme of, hey, if you really dump a bunch of energies onto this card, you're going to get something extremely cool. Get it? Because there's 2 Pokemon here. Ta-da! So yeah, those are the main different types of Pokemon you're going to see. If that feels like it's a lot, in practice, there's big Pokemon and then there's really big Pokemon. You can mostly divide it into how many prizes you're taking, right? Like ultimately in practice, a Pokemon V and a Pokemon GX might very well just be, a body that goes out there, gets bodied, and then you take an amount of prizes, being 2. A new set actually came out very recently called, what's the English name? Battle Styles. The English name is Battle Styles, which has introduced a new style of card. There are Rapid Strike Pokemon. Again, this is Carnivine. Some of you might not even know this Pokemon exists. That's not important. What is important is that up in the top right corner, there's this really not great looking block that says Rapid Strike. That means this is a Rapid Strike card. If there's a card that mentions Rapid Strike cards or Rapid Strike Pokemon, this counts. And then, where's the other one? There is Single Strike. Again, this is Emboar. It's just kind of a normal Emboar. Up at the top right, there is Single Strike. Emboar counts as a Single Strike Pokemon. So if anything references Single Strike, Emboar is someone that can, be involved. And to further reinforce that, this card in particular has an ability called Fighting Fury Stance. It says your Single Strike's Pokemon's attacks deal 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Get it? It reinforces playing more Single Strike Pokemon. Great. And yeah, as somebody asked in chat, this is referencing the newest expansion, the Isle of Armor from Pokemon Sword and Shield. You will also have Pokemon V that have Rapid Strike or Single Strike. You might even have, I think you're Ursh, great. You might even have Pokemon V Max as Rapid Strike. I will say that once you start adding all this extra stuff, it gets to be a lot. This is mostly just a thing with the Rapid Strike and Single Strike Pokemon, I gotta say. And yeah, it's brand new. If it shows up, chances are somebody is just playing a bunch of the same thing for thematic or synergy purposes. But all in all, that's kind of the Pokemon. It's just mostly broken up into how many prizes you get when you murder these cute animals. Trainers. They're like item cards, effectively. In fact, some of them are even called item cards. They're not Pokemon. They're not energies. They're item cards. If you've played other games, like Magic the Gathering's a good analogy. You might be familiar with, say, instants, sorceries, enchantments, artifacts. Trainer cards kind of fit into those categories. For instance, here's Acrobike. It's a trainer card as noted by the word trainer in the top left corner. Acrobike's an item, meaning that you're going to use it and then it's going to go away. It's going to get put into your discard pile after using it. And as it says in the bottom right-hand corner, you may play as many item cards as you like during your turn before you attack. So Acrobike has an effect. You look at the top 2 cards of your deck. One of them go into your hand, and the other goes into your discard pile. Pretty straightforward. This is a trainer card that is an item card called Air Balloon. This means I got logged out due to inactivity. I hope that the internet didn't connect, but it's probably because I'm just didn't disconnect, but I imagine it's probably just the server. The fact that I'm seeing this on the screen also leads me to believe that it's just Pokemon Online. You got my password? You'll never get my password. They didn't like it. It appears as though I'm receiving a DDoS attack from Mark Rosewater. Parody. Anyways, Air Balloon, it's an item, it's a trainer. You can play any number of item cards during your turn. It also happens to be a Pokemon tool. Pokemon tools. You attach a Pokemon tool to one of your Pokemon that doesn't already have a Pokemon tool attached. Make sense? You attach it to the Pokemon. Pokemon tools will then provide an effect to the Pokemon that has it attached to them, that has the tool attached to them. Effectively a held item. Think of it like a held item or an aura. Not necessarily an equipment because it can't really pass around. It's just something attached to the Pokemon that provides an effect. So for instance, Air Balloon says the retreat cost of the Pokemon this card is attached to is 2 colorless less. That means that if your Pokemon is not a coward, or is a coward but is a very thick coward and can't sneak past the enemies without its booty clapping. Booty clapping is the technical term for sufficient energies. This card is going to help out. Pokemon tools come in a variety of shapes and sizes, from balloons to ancient scrolls to knives. There are knives. I mean, technically they're swords, but what is a sword if not a giant knife? Wow, what a beautiful quote. And you can quote me on that. Stadiums. Stadiums are also trainers. The stadium stays in play when you play it. So if you play a stadium, it kind of sits around. It essentially builds the landscape. Discard it if another stadium comes into play. So it's going to stick around. It's going to provide some kind of passive effect or active effect, once per turn, or they can do this, that kind of thing, until another stadium comes into play. If a stadium with the same name is in play, you can't play this card. So if Winden Stadium is in play, and I have a copy of Winden Stadium in my hand, and I really need to get it out of my hand, I can't play it. I gotta find a different way. For instance, Winden Stadium provides the static effect of whenever either player plays a Pokemon VMAX from their hand to evolve a Pokemon V during their turn. We talked about that right before this. Heal 100 damage off that Pokemon. Wasn't that nice? That's great. A round of applause for Winden Stadium, please. I don't have my soundboard open, and I haven't crossed that path yet on this stream. I'll see how I'm feeling. But you get the picture. Stadiums, usually pretty good. Some of them extremely hateful. Some decks are going to kind of be based around using them as engines. Some of them just use them as a, hey, this might help me accomplish a thing. Or, hey, this might stop my opponent from doing something too nasty. And then we're going to get to a card type called Supporter. Supporters. That's not the best supporter. Let's go with the one that everybody's looking for. Professor. No, not you. Where's Professor's research? Sure, let's go with the old lady. Supporters. Supporters are also trainers. This is a card called Professor's Research. In the bottom right corner, it says you may play only one supporter card during your turn. Well, that's not fair. I can play as many item cards in one turn as I'd like. Why can I only play one supporter? It's because they're pretty good. Professor's Research, for instance, says discard your hand and draw 7 cards. For those of you that play Magic, that's Wheel of Fortune, a card that is banned in a bunch of everything. Now, you can only play one of these during your turns, but your deck can have up to 4 copies of this card. In fact, your deck can have up to 4 copies of any card you'd like. When it comes to basic energies, though, which are effectively basic lands, you could have as many as you'd like. But yeah, supporters, pretty strong. A lot of decks will play a lot of supporters, and they'll play a lot of different supporters. Similarly, trainers in general are pretty good. A lot of decks will play a lot of trainers. It's going to be deck to deck, format to format, but often you will have decks built around a couple of different Pokemon, 1 or 2 that work really well together, or an evolutionary line that works really well together. And then you will help supplement that with a whole bunch of supporters and trainers, item cards, that sort of thing. And then finally, energies. We talked about the basic energies. There's a basic energy of every type that we covered earlier. But there are also special energies. You can tell they're special because they say so up in the top left or top right corner, depending on which set they're from. I'm fairly certain top right is the default, but hey, why not throw a wrench in teaching new players? Let's take a look at, how about aromatic energy? So as you can see in the top right corner and the giant grass energy art in front of you, aromatic energy provides a grass energy. It's a grass energy. However, it has a special ability, therefore making it a special energy. It says the grass Pokemon this card is attached to recovers from all special conditions and can't be affected by any special conditions. Special conditions? Well, that sounds like a lot to cover. I guess we should jump into it. After this commercial break, which I'll go to it after I finish up on the special energies. I just thought it was a good segue. Special energies can range from being, usually they'll provide utility. For instance, draw energy. It's a special energy. It only provides a single colorless. When you attach this card from your hand to a Pokemon, draw a card. That's pretty good. That said, from a more strategic standpoint, the pacing and how cards are drawn and card value and for all you hardcore gamers out there, card velocity, it's totally different from every other game. That's why you're able to play 4 copies of Wheel of Fortune. It's why you're able to play 4 copies of Tutors that you can play in multiple a turn. All that jazz. Some other special energies just provide extra energy. This is an old standby. If you've played the game when you were younger, you might be familiar with this. This is double colorless energy. DCE, as I used to call it, and still call it, much to the chagrin of the newer players that I've spoken with. Double colorless energy provides 2 colorless energies. So you can only have 4 of them in your deck, but this adds 2 colorless energies. It accelerates. Truly the ancient tomb of the game, I guess. But that's not all. We can get really messed up. if we really want to. Where are you? Where are you? Scroll. No. I mean, I guess we can talk about this. This is powerful energy. It's a special energy. Some of the ones that we saw, like draw energy, have a when you play it. Powerful energy has a static, basically, of the attacks of a colorless Pokemon this card is attached to deal 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this says, hey, I'm only providing colorless. It's only one colorless, but baby, if we're in it to win it. So you're doing some more damage with your, I don't know, Snorlax or something. Or your bird. There's a lot of birds. Let's see. There's the rapid strike and the single strike that we had talked about. That applies to energies as well. This is a fun one I'm going to show before we go to the commercial. This one's called Triple Acceleration Energy. This card can only be attached to an evolution Pokemon. If this card is attached to one of your Pokemon discarded at the end of turn, this card provides 3 colorless energy only while it's attached to an evolution Pokemon. If this card is attached to anything other than an evolution, discard this card. That's a lot. That's a lot of colorless energy. That's a lot. Yeah. You can do some gross things with that. But we're going to do some less gross things. We're going to show you all this in action. We're going to play through the tutorial a little bit. We're going to cover some of the stuff, and then I'll show you what you do when you get into the game and how to explore Pokemon, the digital trading card game. So stay right there. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes here after this short commercial break. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. No. James, buddy, James. Oh, slow down. It's okay. No. It'll be fine. There's not going to be any lawsuit. I made. It's different. No. So Pokemon uses. There's like an accent over the E, James. There's an accent over the E. I don't have the accent. They don't even have a case, but it's a different game. It's a different word. I've made all the shirts, yeah. I gotta call you back. Oh, hi, everybody. It's me, Ben. We're playing Pocket Monsters. Monsters Edition. We're playing Pokemon. The trading card game, the digital component. And if you're just joining us, I just explained the cards, but what happens when we play the cards? Well, I'm going to click the tutorial. I'm going to help. I'm going to zoom through the tutorial. This is not a canonical Pokemon Professor, as far as I've been told, but hopefully they'll help us. We are in the tutorial. I am on the side of the screen that does not cover the advice she's giving. Let's take a look at a Pokemon card. Right-click onto Eevee to zoom in. Okay. Oh, wow. It talks about how this is a basic Pokemon with 50 HP and the attacks. Yeah-huh. All right. So I'm choosing it to be the active Pokemon. As you can see, there's an area up here where we put the active Pokemon. Great. Those cards that got fanned out, now that both of us have an active Pokemon. These active Pokemon are basic Pokemon. And we both got them out. And then 6 cards were put as our prize cards. Remember? 6 cards, 6 Pokemon. Each player starts their turn by drawing a card. Usually, you also will, draw a hand. But for the tutorial, this is going to help lead us through. Energies allow Pokemon to attack. You attach 1 per turn. Zach's going to attach a metal energy to Rattata. Okay. And then passed. So because Zach went first, he couldn't attack. On the first turn of the game, you can't attack. You also can't play supporter cards. Supporters, for those that may have slammed a bottle of moonshine over that short commercial break, they are the trainer cards that you can only use one per turn that have a very powerful effect attached to them. So it makes sense that Zach can't start to pop off on turn 1. This leads to scenarios where, depending on what type of deck you're playing, depending on what your strategy is looking to do, you might prefer to be on the draw than going first. It's our turn. We drew an electric energy, or lightning, attached to Eevee. Okay, well, I click on the card and I put it on Eevee. Great. The player who goes first can attack. However, you can, since you went second. Eevee is going to use Smash Kick. As you can see, makes some noise. Thing pops up. It goes like... Smash Kick did 10 damage. Rattata has 40 because Rattata's... I almost just went off the rails to call Rattata a series of mean names. So 30 more damage is enough for a knockout. Click anywhere to continue. Well, where's the anywhere button? Opponent drew a card, and they attacked immediately. Eevee has a stronger attack that requires more energy. Attach another energy. Okay. I guess I can use Tail Whap. This is a legally distinct attack. This is not Tail Whip. This is Tail Whap. You might be familiar with the tie-in song by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Parody, 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 parody. This is Pokemon. This is a children's game. I drew a trainer card. It's a potion. Right-click on potion to take a closer look. Okay. They have special effects. Potion, being it can heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. You know, I understand. Rattata has 40 HP now. It used to have 30, right? I get that. Times change. Rats get bigger. Potion used to heal 20. And I guess the medicine is stronger than ever. But it still feels bad. In the games, my potion still heals 20 damage. Why is it heals 30 here? Rattata only has 10 HP. Use Tail Whap to knock out Zach's Rattata. Okay. I have slain your rat. The Pokemon is knocked out. It goes to the discard pile, as do all the energy cards attached to it. If there were Pokemon tools attached to it, it would also go to the discard pile. If that Rattata had evolved into Eradicate, all of that is going to go to the pile as well. And because we knocked out the rat, we get to pick a prize card. I want the top right one. Oh, yes! It's an energy! Ugh. It's what I've always wanted. Our opponent has now brought out their Meowth. Their Meowth has an attack called Fury Swipes. Costs 1. And it says, flip 3 coins. This attack does 10 damage times the number of heads. There's coin flipping in this game. Now, I want to say this. For anybody that's listening, that's turned off by coin flipping and the variance that comes attached to it. It's not that big of a deal. It's not a massive amount of variance. It often isn't make or break. Occasionally, it can be a little bit, but I've seen some of you play Magic the Gathering, and I've seen some of you complain about variance in Magic the Gathering, and I really don't think it was variance's fault for all those, matches you lost. So, I think you'll be fine. It's not that bad. It's genuinely not that bad. It's a part of the game we play, and you learn to love it. Or hate it. Hate it or love it. You drew a Pikachu. You should put it onto your bench just in case Eevee gets murdered. Okay. I have this electric energy. Eevee is... that's too much energy. I'm going to put it on my Pikachu. I'm going to use Tail Whap. All right, well, this Meowth and tutorial are making me look bad because the Meowth, that was a... Meowth needed to flip an additional heads and did not. Therefore, my Eevee survived. Well, what are you going to do? I'm sorry for playing what... I mean, this is a secret rare, but I'm sorry that you're just playing a Meowth. Instead, I'm going to continue to bombard you with my Eevee. Oh. Oh no, Eevee got knocked out. Okay. Yeah, as being pointed out in chat by Random Trivia, I find that the coin flipping and the variance that comes with this game is more akin to the variance that can come with calculating how many draw spells you have in your deck left, or how many of an effect you have, and whether or not it's better for you to play a spell that lets you look at the top 3 cards and draw 1, or a spell that lets you draw 2. Bad example for the numbers, but you get the picture. It's more akin to that than, oh, if I win a coin flip, I win everything ever. My Pikachu is now going to Electro Ball, defeating the Meowth and therefore defeating Zack. We have killed Zack, and Zack has now been replaced with somebody that we will not fight yet. Instead, I would like to fight this opponent. Zack is now dead. I am looting his corpse of his clothing and Pokemon cards. We are now against Ella. I have to choose a basic Pokemon. I have drawn my hand for the turn, 7 cards, and I am selecting a basic Pokemon to be my active. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. My mom's a good teacher? I'm getting fleeced. Remember, the player who goes first can't attack on their first turn. Make sure to select end turn when you can't attack, and don't you dare think you could ever defeat my daughter. They look nothing alike. That can't be your kid. They don't even have glasses. I'm going to put another energy on my Eevee, and I'm going to use Tail Whap. My opponent has a Jigglypuff. It has 60 HP and an attack called Continuous Tumble, where they flip coins until they fail, and it deals 10 damage equal to number of heads. It looks like I need to put a Pikachu on my bench, and put an energy on my Pikachu, and then Tail Whap. You get the picture? Ella just drew a Stage 1 evolution for Jigglypuff. Now she can evolve it into Wigglytuff. This is Wigglytuff. As you can see, Wigglytuff is thick. This is 90 HP. When you evolve a Pokemon, they keep the damage counters that they have on them. And if they had any special conditions, those special conditions would be removed. However, we have also drawn a Raichu, an evolution of Pikachu. So it appears as though we too have plot armor. I get to put a lightning energy on my Raichu and then use Thundershock. And we lost the coin flip. Of course we lost the coin flip. Ella's Wigglytuff is close to being knocked out. She can discard 2 energy to retreat Wigglytuff. Remember? Coward. Oh no. Ella has brought out a Sandshrew. Sandshrew is a fighting type in this game. And as you can see, our Raichu is weak to fighting. Well, I'm going to put a Pikachu on the bench. I'm going to put a Lightning on Raichu. And while in the game, Sandshrew over here is resistant to electric attacks as a ground type, nay, invulnerable. Things are a little different here in the TCG. I'm going to click Electro Ball, and you're going to give me that money. I have knocked out the rat, or the shrew. The Wigglytuff has said, hey, I am no longer a coward. I drew a potion, and because none of my Pokemon have damage counters, I can't even potion to BM the mother-daughter duo over here trying to fleece me. So instead, I'm going to Electro Ball and win the game. You get what I'm saying? That showcased evolutions, retreating, and coin flips. Now I'm going to fight this nerd who I can only assume is her son. It would be really funny if all of these people, all the people in the tutorial were related to the teacher. We can choose between Pikachu or Electabuzz. Which one should we pick? Vote now with your phones. I'm taking out a whole family. Oh yeah, this is Pokemon. This is the 4th gen all over again. The other one. Choose a Pokemon to start on your bench. Well, here's the thing. Here's the 411, chat. Is that I don't have to do that. I'm just going to click done. It might yell at me. But remember, I'm on the draw here. My opponent can't attack. So I'm not going to lose. And now, unbeknownst to them, they've developed a board of nothing but water types and another rat. Which means that I can now develop my own rat, but my rat has type advantage. I'm going to put a lightning energy on my angry man, and he's going to use light punch. Light punch. This is like... I always thought Electabuzz was giant. I feel as though, much like how they've made Pikachu thinner over the years, I feel as though when they introduced Pokemon with evolutions that didn't have them originally, because Electabuzz now has an evolution to Electivire. I have a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that they made Electabuzz smaller after this. There's no way this dude is he's 3 feet. 60 pounds? My cat weighs more than that. Also, why do vets keep getting upset at me? I'm going to use Ambush. And because I'm a skilled player, I won the coin flip and dealt an additional 10 damage, killing their rat, allowing me to take an orb. Why is it... What? Why is this Electro just hanging out on a bunch of ice? Well, they have a monkey out that's a water monkey, and the water monkey's weak to lightning. And it's pouring a bunch of coffee. Which means that if I win a coin flip, I can deal 20 damage plus 20 damage, that's 40 times 2. So I'm going to play my orb. I'm going to play this. Let's see. I could use my Pokemon Center Lady. What? You mean Nurse Joy? I'm going to potion my Electabuzz because I'm baby. And then I'm going to win this coin flip. Check it. The crowd goes wild. Wow, it's as if we showcased weaknesses. Stop it. I will fight you in a second. This guy with the headphones keeps trying to fight me. Why does he keep trying to fight me? Alright, I'll throw out Electabuzz again. No, I'm good. Allie? Oh, Grimer? Coughing? Oh, this is a cool deck. Our opponent played a card. Town map. Turn all your prizes face up. They remain face up for the rest of the game. Well, this isn't a very good thing. It's very funny, though. We also drew a supporter. Discard a card from your hand. If you do, look at the top 8 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Shuffle the other back afterward. Okay. Well, tell you what. Let's play our very first supporter card. We could discard an electric energy, a lightning energy even, or we could discard a Fearow, which we can't really play, but I feel like we might use this. So I'm going to get rid of an energy. I get to look at all these cards. 5, a potion, a Spearow, and a Raichu. Well, I kind of want the bird. We haven't even shown off the bird. And see, by doing this, now my entire strategy has changed. Who knows? Maybe I wanted to pitch that Pikachu, which I didn't play on my bench. Right? I chose not to play it. I chose not to put the Pikachu on the bench. And by doing so, I had an option, a strategic option, in which I said no. Light Punch Electabuzz, let's go. Yeah. Armadillo, we covered that at the beginning where Coughing went from grass to psychic, and then poison and Coughing, for this example, and the one that we used, went from grass to psychic, and then psychic to dark. So poison is now dark. I drew Professor's letter. It says, "Dear idiot." "Dear loser, Ben." It allows me to find 2 energy cards and put them into my hand. Wowie zowie. I'm going to put an energy on my Electabuzz. I'm going to evolve my bird. And I'm going to punch. Electabuzz, you failed me for the last time! I will put an energy on my bird. Now, we could use our Pokemon Center Lady, an iconic card if there's ever been one. But how about instead, we punch? Because while we can only play 1 supporter a turn, this is going to heal 60 damage, and our Electabuzz only has 30. This card's been ruined for me. I mean, I'll never see it again. Well, maybe I will, because it might be in the theme decks. The stupid joke. Kangaskhan. Here's Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan has 100 HP. It's a basic Pokemon. Does not evolve. Nothing evolves into Kangaskhan either. Unless you hack the game and unlock the Cubone Marowak Kangaskhan line. It has an attack called Call for Family. You search for 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, and Comet Punch. For 2 colorless, flip 4 coins. It deals 20 damage times the number of heads. That might seem like a lot of coin flipping, but this is a callback to Jungle, the second Pokemon set that had a Kangaskhan that did just that, but for twice the cost. It's real bad. I'm going to put an energy on my Fearow. I'm going to put a Kangaskhan on the bench. And I kind of want my Electabuzz to die so I can bring out my large bird. So I'm going to save my Pokemon Center Lady for my Fearow. How is the baby Kangaskhan the same as the adult? Much like how we had a mother-daughter gambling ring where they look nothing alike due to one of them having glasses. Things change as they get older. What the hell is this? My opponent evolved their Coughing into a Weezing, and this Weezing has a bunch of text on it that isn't relevant. When this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, discard the top 3 cards of my deck. No! I need those for other card games. It also deals 20 damage to each of my Pokemon, including my Electabuzz. This is messed up. This is messed up. I'm going to simply go for an ambush. I want my Electabuzz to die. I want my Electabuzz to die. Although I'm curious. What do you think? So my Electabuzz is knocked out. They get a prize. They pick the Ekans, of course. Oh, of course they pick the Ekans. Ooh. I don't know why I'm going ooh. It's not super exciting. I drew a Great Ball. It's an item. I look at the top 7 cards of my deck and reveal a Pokemon, put it into my hand. Okay. Hey. You know what they say, chat? One great ball deserves another. If I lose because of this, we don't talk about Durant Mill. Nobody talk about Durant Mill in here. Well, I'm going to use Peck. I used my supporter for the turn and killed the Wheezing. I drew another supporter, which I can use next turn. Ideally, I can level up my orb. Evolve my orb. There it is, my other orb. Even Mulder's happy about the orb. Now I could put an energy on orb, or I could put it on my large bird and use the attack Drill Run. Drill Run does 70 damage and costs 4 energies, which we have. Says flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy attached to the opponent's active Pokemon. Downsides, our opponent, their coughing doesn't have any energies on it. Upside, their coughing has 70 HP, meaning this will just kill their coughing immediately. This attack brought to you by Orb Gang. Orb Gang, Orb Gang, God, try saying Orb Gang repeatedly. Try saying Orb Gang repeatedly, and do so. That's an order. That's an orbder. I'm going to use Drill Run again, killing my opponent's Sludge. They didn't even use the Ekans they found. I gotta tell you, one of my favorite things about this series is just gonna be shit-talking the tutorial AIs. Alright, that's it, headphones. Alright, finally, headphones is sitting down. Otis. Alright, Otis. You're pretty tough, but what if I developed an orb? Although, we have a Pikachu. I could get out the orb and evolve orb, but I want to protect orb, so I'll play Pikachu first. Oh no, Scyther. I had nothing else. I'll play an orb on my bench, and I'll even put an energy on orb and pass. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna lose to a tutorial. Again. I won't do it again. Well, I could put an energy on my Pikachu. Or I could put an additional energy on my orb and level up my orb. Now, Pikachu has a retreat cost of 1. I don't have an energy on my Pikachu because I put it on my orb. However, I have this item. It's called Switch. Not unlike the Will Smith hit smash song from 2004? Maybe 2005. I forget. Anyways, I'm going to use it. It allows me to switch my active Pokemon with someone on the bench. I did that with Pikachu. I now have my orb out front and ready to party. I have a card called Bicycle. Bicycle is an item. I draw cards until I have 4 cards in hand. I'm going to use Bicycle and draw. And now I have Giovanni's Scheme. I have Giovanni's Scheme. It's a supporter. I can only use 1 per turn. I can draw until I have 5 cards in hand. That's 1 more than Bicycle allows me to draw. Or I could use it to allow my Pokemon's attacks to do 20 more damage to my opponent's Pokemon. Well, time to get on an even larger bicycle. I've drawn card. Evo Soda. Search your deck even, for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. Shuffle your deck afterward. You can't use this card during your first turn or on a Pokemon that was put into play this turn. So I can't evolve my Eevee. However, I can evolve my Pikachu and maybe even my Orb. But do I want to do this? That's truly the best part of this. So I am instead going to cast Roller Skates. Roller Skates is an item that has flip a coin of heads, draw 3 cards. I've been on bicycles. I've been on roller skates. I've been on even bigger bicycles. My transportation tribal deck is really popping off. I have a stadium. Each Pokemon in play has no resistance. Few can resist Orb. And I guess I'll find 2 more energies. There are a lot of decks that will play a whole bunch of stuff in one turn. Usually when they do that, they're accomplishing much more than what we are. And I'll attack with my Orb. This is unbelievable. Otis, we didn't agree to this. A2, Otis? I've drawn yet another Pikachu. Well, I'm going to put a lightning energy on my Electrode. And now I want to be clear. Hands up if you think the Orb is a coward. What is that? 0 hands up? I will be ignoring anybody that puts their hand up, by the way. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill this useless Eevee instead of my Orb, and I'll protect it for later as I put out a Pikachu and then pass the turn. You see, the Orb has a free retreat cost because it's so fast, Cowardice cannot keep up. Hey, Chad, did you see that? My opponent tried to go roller skating, and they fell on their face. Losing. I'll play a second Orb. Fine. I'll put an energy on this Eevee and I'll smash kick. Dealing 10 damage. Why retreat? I'm protecting my Orb. Remember, protect your Orb. Alright, now's the time. Now's the time, gamers. I will use my evolutionary soda. I've ran out of orbs. I'll get this electric rat. That must mean that I have another orb tucked away in my prize pool. Thankfully, I will retreat this Eevee, costing me an energy, thus defining it as a coward. I'm then going to put a good luck charm on my orb, the hard charm. So my hard orb is now going to take 20 less damage from anything that gets thrown at it, thus making my Electra Ball both powerful and family friendly. And would you look at that? A lightning energy. I don't even know if I played an energy. What do they have here? Oh, that's a lot. That does so much damage. Strength. Alright, it's okay though. My orb's one tough cookie that will die next turn. Orb, you failed me. I mean, I'll draw. Well. Orb is going to go down in a blaze of glory. Electrode, what are you doing? Be well. As my orb dies. It's okay. We'll find another one. Orb's not a coward. Orb died for a good cause. I paralyzed my opponent's Pokemon, as this tooltip is telling you. While paralyzed, a Pokemon can attack or retreat, and at the end of your turn, Pokemon returns to normal. Don't ever show me this ever again, Zach. I thought I killed you. Did we not kill Zach? I thought the very first thing we did was dispatch that asshole. My opponent also tried to drink the evolution soda poorly. Now, I'm going to Thundershock. The Electro Ball may have killed their Weedle. May have killed the Weedle. But I don't think this is Raichu's fight. What is Raichu? If Raichu kills this Weedle, yeah, we win the game. Yeah, Otis never has to talk to us ever again. But that's in the now, right? You know what? I'm going to use Switch. That's in the now, right? I'm thinking long term. This orb needs to get a W. Voltorb stares off into the sunset, thinking about all the previous orbs. Paul, do we have Danny Boy played on the bagpipes? Only Fantasy Costco. Okay. No, let's hold that off. So that's the tutorial. You get the picture. Okay, so what do you do if you don't want to beat up on extremely bad AI? Well, you could cut your teeth against slightly better AI. This is called the Trainer Challenge. Here's a series of trainers. These are a series of trainers that you can fight. When you start the game fresh, you'll be given 3 of these decks, right? Hidden Depths, Crushing Current, and Born of Fire. The deck that we were playing was most likely based off of Crushing Current. As you can see, we have many of the same cards. We've got Volt Orb, we've got Electrode, but these are slightly different versions of, the orbs we're familiar with. We've got Magneton. We got all the favorites. All the favorites that you know and love. The Hidden Depths one is going to be playing Water. We got Articunos, we got Magikarp, we got Gyarados, all that jazz. And then we have Born of Fire. Born of Fire is the fire one. Any further questions? Basically, you have a whole bunch of people that you can fight. They have decks featuring magic cards, featuring Pokemon cards. They have decks. Take 2. They have decks featuring magic Pokemon cards. Magic here being an adjective as to the feeling you get when you play this game. As you beat them, you can receive rewards. These rewards include upgrades to your deck, upgrades to your card pool, upgrades to your life and collection. And there are a couple of different levels. There's gold, there's platinum, and there's city championship. As you go up, you fight different people with different decks at different power levels. Some of these decks are genuinely going to be a bit annoying, considering that the decks that you can use, well, you're mostly just restricted to what we call theme decks. But we'll get into that next week. Theme decks, well, we're going to actually get into it a bit this week. Theme decks are the decks that have, well, a theme attached to them. If you're kind of familiar with like intro decks or planeswalker decks or theme decks from other games, it's like that. But Pokemon takes it a little bit further, even to the point where you have like single elimination, higher entry cost theme events. Why, there's even, if we go to the versus section, there's even a queue for theme decks. As in, you can just fight other people playing with theme decks. This is quite a fun way to play. It's very cheap to play this as well. The game gives you a bunch. You can unlock a bunch through the in-game store that uses the in-game currency. If you really want to spend your own dollary dues, you can get codes for these decks that will cost you literal cents. Sometimes maybe $1, maybe $2. The really best top tier, this is what people believe are the most broken theme decks for, say, those diehards on the theme deck ladder. Even those decks are like under $10. And that's like 1 or 2 of God knows how many. I will say they did not release theme decks with the newest set, right? if we go to the store under the decks, we don't have theme decks from Battle Styles. We do have theme decks from Vivid Voltage, which was the last set before the most recent release. So this Vivid Voltage came out at the beginning of the year. I want to say beginning of February even, because I believe that was the original plan for, is this your card? It was going to be February because that set came out, and now it's this set. But they're not for here. They Battle Styles, aka this one, the newest set, they came with a different product for cards. But that's okay because theme decks are plentiful. There's a lot. You can play with a bunch of different decks. There's a bunch of people playing it, and they're fun. Again, it's how James plays. It's one of the ways that Ben Ulmer mentioned playing, who we'll see him next week. And it's one of the ways that I've enjoyed playing. In fact, I have a couple of different theme decks myself. One of them with my an old friend of mine. By that I mean a new friend. Galarian Farfetch'd, and this theme deck being based around Galarian Surfetch'd. Pretty cool, huh? Genuinely cool. It is cool. I don't know why I asked it like that. It is. Please listen to me. So, I'm gonna hop into gold, which is the lowest level of this. I'm gonna click on that button accidentally. I'm gonna go back to where we were. I'm gonna click onto gold. I'm gonna click on Zach, and I'm gonna select a deck. We could use the water deck that we get. We could use the electric deck, the lightning deck that we received. We could even use the fire deck we've received, because these are all going to be decks available no matter who you are starting out. But Zach's using normal type, as you can see up here. And I have a fighting type, which is super effective against normal. So I could just pick this and massacre Zach, because I thought Zach died. I thought this man was dead. But somebody in chat asked for the fire deck, and that's one of the decks you get, so let's just do that. Please ignore how my character looks. You can customize your avatar. I tried to make mine as annoying as possible. Hands up if you've ever seen me wear board shorts, a beret, or a vest. You're all lying if you've said... I don't think I've worn any of... I've worn a vest, definitely. I don't think I've ever worn... Maybe... Actually, is this a beret or a Kangol? Once again, I'm ignoring all of these hands. Choose a Pokemon to be your active. Okay. So this will actually give a more normalized kind of POV of starting up a game. We shuffled up. Choosing the active. We've decided who's going first. Because I have a starting hand that has a basic Pokemon in it, in fact, I have a bunch, I get to pick one of these and make it the active Pokemon. This Meowth looks really funny, so I'm going to pick this Meowth. Then it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to put stuff on your bench? I'm going to say, no, I'm good. Oh, welcome, Matt. How you doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Is This Your Card, where we're focusing on the Pokemon. Focusing on the Pokemon, if you will. Remember, we're going first, so we can't attack her right away. But I can put a horse on the bench, and energy on the Meowth, and I can pass. And we do have a Persian. We actually did draw a Persian. The Persian evolves from Meowth, if you're not familiar. Has more HP. It's got an attack called Raid. 1 energy and 30 damage plus. So this is something not really covered in, much of the tutorial outside of other stuff. But take a gander. This attack has a plus sign next to it. That means that there is a way to increase the amount of damage this attack will deal. For Raid, it says, if this Pokemon evolved from Meowth during this turn, this attack does 30 more damage. So normally it does 30, but if I evolved my Meowth into a Persian and then use that attack, it's going to do 30 plus 30, 60 damage. There are other things that can say like, hey, if you have a certain amount of energies on here, let's go. There are a bunch of things that say, hey, if you're doing this against an evolved Pokemon, let's go. The next attack, Fury Swipes, 30x. That X is showing multiplication. Flip 3 coins. This attack does 30 damage times the number of heads. So, 30 damage times what? Well, flipping 3 coins, number of heads. You get the picture. So if we're lucky enough, aka good enough, we could even deal 90 damage for 2 energies. And of course, we didn't go first, so we're able to put an energy on the Meowth. We couldn't attack, but now we have the option. We could evolve into a Persian and deal 60 damage, or we could just do something else. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to evolve into a Persian and do some damage. Our opponent has a Lickitung, and this is canonically disgusting. 90 HP, has an attack called Lunge, 3 colorless, or generic for you gamers out there. Flip a coin, if tails, this attack does nothing. This card and some of the cards that we'll come across are not really indicative of things that you see on modern Pokemon cards. They also have it's wearing a robe of sorts. The Pokemon this card is attached to can't be affected by special conditions. Great. I'm going to put another energy on Meowth. I'm going to evolve my Meowth into a Persian. And I'm going to use Raid, which will deal 60 damage. My opponent put an energy on their Lickitung and then passed. Well, I'm going to put an energy on my horse. And we have 2 options. One, we could use Raid, which will deal 30 damage flat. Even though we didn't evolve our Persian, it's still going to do 30. We only need to do 30 for the Lickitung to be knocked out. But I think it's funnier if we go for Fury Swipes. Because theoretically, if we lose every coin flip, this attack will do 0. And I don't know about all y'all, but I came to game. Okay, sure. Okay, well, a little unfortunate. We only won a single coin flip. However, it appears as though Zach forgot to bring 2 things. Additional benched Pokemon and skill. Everybody please laugh at them. I mean, you know, I'm being a bit of a bully to Zach, but Zach won't die. Zach won't die. So I'm coming back at Zach. I'm trying to figure out why he's immortal and why he has a DreamWorks smirk on his face. Exactly. Paper Dupless in chat is saying he deserved to be laughed at with that smug expression and semi-turtleneck. Yeah, I can't... Zach is wearing a Pokemon... that the icon on Zach's sweater is for the Pokemon League. I believe for effectively Pokemon Organized Play. Maybe it's older. But I'm getting DreamWorks smirked by somebody in a Pokemon League turtleneck. And while it's never okay to make fun of somebody's appearance or the clothing they're wearing, now's the exception. I'm going to play Meowth again. Because Meowth is right. We dish out the prizes. Oh no. Zach has got a Snorlax in play. Snorlax is 130 HP. Has the ability Stir and Snooze. If this Pokemon is asleep, flip 2 coins instead of 1 between each turn. If either of them is tails, this Pokemon's asleep. Asleep is similar to paralysis, except you flip every turn instead of just knocked out for 1 turn. Which means someone can fall asleep, they can flip a coin, it's up immediately. This one means that Snorlax is extra cozy. Has an attack called Sleepy Press. 4 energies, 120 damage, healed 20 damage from this Pokemon. This Pokemon is now asleep. Get it? Because it's a Snorlax. They've given Snorlax a nice robe. And earlier, Zach played Repeat Ball. Search your deck for a Pokemon with the same name as one of the Pokemon in play, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Meaning they have 2 Snorlaxes. They have 2 Snorlaxes. We have a Moltres. This is a large fire bird. I'm going to play a Moltres. I'm also going to use a supporter for our turn. Steven. A lot of times supporter cards are going to be characters. Like they're iconic characters from the game, such as Steven or Better Bike, that kind of thing. Sometimes they're also just random fishermen. So Steven lets us find another supporter card and a basic energy. That sounds pretty cool. We can get another basic energy here. And we could get, I don't know, Better Bike. We could get a Draw 7. But why not just get another Steven? That's right, chat. You can chain Stevens if you really want to. It's not always that great. Often not that great. It's fine, I guess. It's okay. It's all right. I'm going to play the Meowth, and I'm going to Feelin' Fine. Get it? Feelin' Fine? Feline Fine? You get it, right? Professor Sycamore. I'm sick of more cards. I want to just draw the good ones. Oh. Well, how about I Steven? I'm going to grab a Fire Energy, and I'm going to grab a Lysander. Lysander is a supporter that says switch one of your opponent's Pokemon with one of their benched Pokemon. Some of you may be familiar with a card called Gust of Wind. That was a card back in the day. It's a trainer. They'll let you do exactly this, except you weren't limited to only casting it once per turn because it wasn't a supporter. Supporters didn't exist. A lot of supporters are broken old cards, but tagged with the supporter type. So they're saying like, hey, remember this? Once per turn. Okay? Once per turn. I'm going to level up my bird. Oh, boy. This Snorlax is getting close to the danger zone. How about we retreat into the bird? I'm definitely not prolonging this to get to the exact time point. I'm going to fire off a combustion to deal 20 damage to Snorlax. Does the robe stop it from sleeping? No, but it helps. It helps. Our opponent has played a Bidoof on their bench. They have a Bidoof. Which means they've fallen right in my trap. Zach, you idiot. You fucking idiot. You... see, chat, what Zach has done is Zach has exposed his Bidoof to my Moltres. Looks like Zach begoofed. You know, because he played a Bidoof. So now there's this Bidoof in play. This Bidoof has two energies required for retreating, and there's a Snorlax on the bench, meaning that if Zach wants to get that Snorlax out, Bidoof will have to load up for 2 energies, retreat, and then get an additional energy on Snorlax. Or Zach could play a card that just, switches, but that's okay. I'm going to play a horse, and then I'm going to play Experience Share. When your active Pokemon is knocked out by the damage of an opponent's attack, you can move 1 basic energy card that was attached to that Pokemon to this Pokemon instead. I'm going to put it on the horse, and I'm going to hit it with another Combustion. Bidoof is going to need a casket. Yeah, after Moltres is done with Bidoof, a closed casket. Okay. We have drawn a second copy of Professor Sycamore. Redundant copies of Sycamore. Just a classic scenario. I'm going to use my energy retrieval. It allows me to put 2 energy cards from my discard pile to my hand. I only have 1, so I'm only getting 1. But that's okay, because I want an energy on my bird. And now, that lets me use Professor Sycamore without wasting the energy retrieval. And if Zach can come into this match and think that he's the only person without a Snorlax, we've got one with plump body. And I'm going to play my plump body. And I'm even going to give a helmet to my plump body. And then I'm going to combustion. Now, here's a fun tactic, gamers. We might find ourselves in a position where if we kill Bidoof, it'll allow our opponent to then bring out Snorlax free of charge. Because when a Pokemon dies, it's not living anymore. And so that means that the Bidoof is going to die. They'll get the opportunity to bring out the big Lax. And that's just, I just can't allow for that. So I might keep Bidoof alive. Although Bidoof has Scrunch, which prevents damage dealt to it, which can be a little, well, awkward. We don't have anything in our graveyard, discard pile even, but what we do have is a larger horse. So I'm going to evolve my Rapidash. Wowee. This Rapidash, by the way, if you are looking to burn through these trainer challenges, believe in Rapidash. Because all you need is a large horse and a bunch of fire, and you are set. Like, there are civilizations that shaped the world we know today off the back of giant horse, lot of fire. Just something to think about. So I'm going to bring out said horse. I'm going to load it up with an energy. And I'm going to kick the Bidoof in the mouth. Allowing me to get an energy card. Nope, it was a Flareon. Was hoping for an energy. What are you going to do? Wait, what? My opponent has a Skarmory. Here's the very funny little ditty. So Skarmory, for those of you not in the know, is a steel flying type. And while it's as much of a bird as it is a hunk of metal, often you kind of just associate Skarmory with steel, given that it was introduced in the second generation, the generation which steel as a type was introduced. However, those sick freaks over at Game Freak, they love play. I don't even know if this is an accurate labeling of who works on this game. They love to mess around. And so here's a Skarmory that is colorless, because most flying types are colorless. And that's just great. Oh, if I could pick any one word, I'd say great. They also played a supporter that causes us to discard an energy attached to our active Pokemon. Some of you may know that as energy removal. A card that you could use a lot. It was a normal item before supporters exist. So, for Magic players out there, imagine if you could get strip mined multiple times in a turn. Or Stone Rain, yeah, exactly. I'm going to play an energy on my Rapid Ash. And then I'm going to kick the bird in its mouth. Didn't they make a set with purposely mismatched typing? They've done that a couple of times, Chaos Joey. They kind of like to do that. Sometimes they've gone way off the deep end where they give an explanation that is, I'm fairly certain it's just the beginning to the Monster Mash, where they're like, uh-oh, scientists figured out something really gross. So here you go. Here's a Squirtle that is an electric type. Tell you what, I'll play my EV and use Fire Blast to knock out their Skarmory. Now imagine if our hand was nothing but fire energies. We could just throw Fire Blasts left and right. And that's truly the best part about Rapper Dash. Rapper Dash. Rapper Dame Dash. What do you do? Each of my stage 1 Pokemon is also a fire type? Okay. We have a level ball. Let's search our deck for a Pokemon with 90 HP or less. Okay. Oh, you like Pokemon, eh? Name a bunch of them with 90 HP or less. Okay, how about we get an additional copy of Rapidash? I'm kind of regretting having this Meowth on the bench. It's kind of ruining my day. How about we just kick this Lickitung in the tongue? It's a My Little Pony OC. Okay. Ooh, Growlithe. This is a dog. We have an even bigger dog in the form of Arcanine. And Arcanine is like Rapidash, except it does 90 instead of 70, which will kill most things. And has the attack Flop. So let's work to that. I'm just going to Fire Blast. And our opponent has a never-ending chain of Pokemon. So we're just lining them up and knocking them down. Furfrou. Okay. Cool. We drew a special energy. This is burning energy. This can only be attached to fire Pokemon, and this provides fire energy only while attached to a fire Pokemon. Got it. If this card is discarded by an attack of the fire Pokemon this card's attached to, attach this card from your discard pile to the Pokemon making the attack. So what you're telling me is if I put this energy, if I put this burning energy, where are you? This burning energy onto my Rapidash, and then use Fire Blast, which causes me to discard my burning energy, it's going to go back on the Rapidash. That's a combo, folks. That's a combo. They put a combo in the tutorial. Can you believe it? I'm going to get Big Dog. And now, there might be, some of you eagle-eyed viewers out here might also recognize that there's an overlap, as both Arcanine has an attack that requires you to discard an energy to use it that'll do a lot of damage for a lowish cost. And Rapidash has an attack that does a lot of damage for a lowish cost that discards an energy. Very similar. Very similar. Rapidash being a horse of sorts, and Arcanine being a dog. This is confirming that, yeah, horse is big dog. But more importantly, that big dog is also horse. And it all comes together. And it all comes together. And it all comes down. It all comes down. It's all looping together. Dog is big horse. Yes, of course. Yes, a horse, of course. My opponent has now played a Dunsparce. Presumably just to die for some sick joke. I don't know what... I gotta say, I wanted to give Zach the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know if this is how this guy gets his kicks. We do have raids set up. I did not receive a raid outside of being raided by Matt. Wiggins, even. What is this? Judge? Sure, I'll play Judge. Do I want to do this? Oh, no. I tried to do a thing, and then the game said, hey, this isn't good. Do you want to do this? I'm going to say no. What a great learning tool. What a great evening it has been to be here. I'm going to retreat this horse to bring out my big dog. And here we are. Big Dog's going to take it down. Hands off my anime. You're my stepdad. That's a joke from the early 2000s. And there we did it. We got the daily challenge. I was given a question mark booster pack. And my dedication to fire energy has gone up. And after every... we even got a package of magic cards. Pokemon cards. Why am I calling it like that? I think it's the tone of voice. But it tells you, like, what did what? How much damage did this? Here's a new challenge. Great. All that jazz. But we can talk about all that jazz in just a hot second from the packets of cards to the ways that we accrue some form of in-game currency and what you can do. I mean, we can cover all that in just a hot second, but for now, I'm going to have to go on a very quick commercial break as per our contract. So don't go away because, we got a lot more to talk about. Yeah, so just sit there and stare at the screen blankly, please. All right? I'll be back in a second. Okay. See that one? That one right there? That's one of my favorite ones. That's one of my favorite ones. Do you want to look at it? You want to touch it? Oh, your hand's stuck to your ear? Oh, that's okay. How about the next page? Remember that? Oh, that was a good trip, wasn't it? Oh. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Is This Your Card? The first episode of our series on Pokemon cards. And I was looking at some Pokemon cards with my son and thinking about all the memories that we've had. All the memories that we've had and all the different types of cards that anybody can have. There's coughings, I guess you could play some coughings. And who could forget when your family cast coughing? But we're a digital card game. And therefore, we deal in the abstract and not the physical, corporeal world. Although some would say that data is, in fact, physical in some way, shape, or form. You'll have to excuse me. My allergies are trying to kill me. What I'm trying to say is, if you're like me and you have a lot of physical cards as well, you might find it a little daunting getting into a digital counterpart. I mean, that's going to cost a lot of money, right? Maybe wrong. As you could see in front of you, as I'm saying, and hopefully not as it... don't go away. As you can see, you can redeem cards online. So Pokemon has an interesting economy. There's an interesting way of getting cards. All physical Pokemon products come with codes. They come with cards. They come with little cards with codes, which if I, for instance, get a booster pack of battle styles in real life, it's going to come with a little code that looks something like this. Then I get to take that home, open up my Pokemon Online, and then put in the code. When I put in the code, I am going to get a duplicate booster pack, or I'm going to get a booster pack or a theme deck or some box, a promo that I have physically. I am going to be given a code for that online, which is pretty cool. That's just a neat little thing for people that play with the physical copies and the online copy. But here's the thing. What happens to the people that only play online and not with physical cards? Well, how are they going to get these codes? The thing is, there are people that do the inverse. They play physical cards and they don't play with the codes. So they can give away the codes, they can share the codes, they can occasionally sell the codes, and sometimes you'll have stores, retail locations that will open physical product to, say, sell singles, and then they have a bunch of codes. So if you're looking to get codes for, say, booster packs, theme decks, these promos, there are a bunch of stores online where you can pick up these codes. And often you can pick up these codes in bulk. And codes from, like, the most recent set, like, last I looked, I picked up a couple of codes for yours truly because I thought it'd be fun and I'd open up stuff. I used these codes to get these booster packs. And we're talking like 20 cents Canadian per code. 40 cents Canadian per code. you're not going to get the exact same content. So if you open a booster pack that has a Charmander, a Charmeleon, and a Blastoise, I don't know why I picked those three. The code that you use for online isn't going to have exactly all those pieces. However, if you say I don't know how relevant this is going to be for the most modern products, but if you say have a box that it has kind of a theme, like let's say it's a Mewtwo box, there will be a code that'll make sure that you get that Mewtwo from your Mewtwo box, which is kind of cool. So yeah, there's a bunch of codes that you can get those the cards like that. You can get the codes like that. It sounds. I typically don't like mentioning it like this because it's really not reliable, right? And obviously, my experiences as someone that does this for a job, it's going to be different than, say, somebody who is just sitting there being like, I want to play this game. I don't know anybody who really plays this game. And also, I am not a streamer and content creator for a living. So I typically don't like doing a lot of this. But genuinely getting codes, if you're just looking to get cards and start playing, people are pretty damn generous. Because there are truly people that just don't care, or they have duplicate codes that they will never really need. And sometimes you'll even just get free codes given away by, the same way that for other digital games that might have cosmetics and whatnot, they might say like, hey, we have a bunch of codes. If you play with us, tell us and we'll give you this code. The same thing stands for that. So there are ways to get codes free from just, not everybody needs them or wants them, and sometimes they just want to get them into the hands of people. And again, it's not the most reliable. I will say that. I want to be clear. My experience isn't going to necessarily be your experience. But before I was telling people I was doing this, and before any way, shape, or form of my name was attached to it, I found myself getting codes from people just being like, I got a bunch of codes. Who wants this? Here you go. Bada bing, bada boom. We're at the shop right now, so while I'm here, I can also show some other stuff. As you can see, in the top right corner, there's a P and a coin. I don't actually know if these have a proper name. I've been calling them Poke Dollars because that sounds better in my head than P coin. You get these coins from doing a couple of things. Playing games, winning matches, winning games and matches in a row, logging on, opening things just because it's the beginning of the week, stuff like that. You don't get it. Admittedly, the coins you get, it's not a massive amount at the beginning. It really isn't. It depends on how you play, and you're going to get more coins when you fight real people. If you just keep fighting tutorials like Zach, who was just a real pushover and frankly just kind of a jackass, you're probably not going to get a lot of coins. If you hop onto the ladder, be it the theme deck, be it playing against other people for standard, other formats, which we might not get into until, last week with Blastoise Tin Fins, but just wait. If you play against real people, you're going to get more coins. You're going to get more things. These coins can be used in the store for a couple of things. One, booster packs. Check it out. These are a bunch of boosters. You have booster packs that are standard legal. So everything in the top row, the second row, the third row, and that's it. Basically, right now, the standard environment is going to be the team up and, up. I don't know if the selective items, they kind of tell you by this icon in the corner here. This little orange deck box is basically saying, hey, this is standard legal. I really wish they did a better job of that. It might tell you here, no, this is just a thing, a little blurb, but you get the picture. I will say the game and the platform for Pokemon, the platform, let's talk mostly about the platform here, it reminds you of everything at all times. It does a pretty good job of like constantly saying like, hey, this is just a heads up, this is only for standard, or hey, this is banned in this thing, are you sure? You know, a bunch of stuff like that. But in order to keep things simplified and not super cluttered, they often resort rather, which if you don't know what this means, it means nothing. So just keep that in mind, right? It's always better to just check, but if you're listening this and moving forward, team up and up. Standard. You can buy all the old ones too. A lot of the old ones going all the way back to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which, God, what is this? 2012? 2010. You can go all the way back to 2010, which means that there are cards available on the client going all the way back then. Wowie zowie. You can buy decks. These are theme decks, as you can see. They're only 500 P coin. Sorry, Poke Dollar. And again, you make the coin a little slowly, but if you, say, have a theme deck that was given to you by the game or by playing or the initial Poke coins that you get, and then you play it on the ladder against other people that are in a similar situation, and you, dare I say, you even win some matches, you can start to rack up these decks pretty reasonably. Also, again, as per the whole, you can get codes online, some of these decks can literally be under $1. I know that there are a couple of theme decks that I picked up because when I was buying real, like the deck that I wanted to play, I was like, oh, what is this? 45 cents for a deck. Okay. I just picked it up because sure, why not? These decks are also pretty reasonable for building a collection sometimes. It's going to vary from deck to deck, but like, is this going to be one of them? Like the trainers that they have are going to be pretty okay, right? Like, for instance, there's a deck in the format right now, in standard, if you're looking to work from, say, theme decks to a standard deck, and you kind of want a two birds, one stone, there's a deck that uses this bucket, for instance. There are decks that use Switch. Turbo Patch occasionally pops up, not as much anymore, but, you know, it's a thing you can do. It's always nice to have copies of Professor's Research. You know, having some other trainers is not that bad. It's just nice to have. So, like, if you're picking a theme deck and you're like, okay, I want to get one, you know, maybe think about what you're looking for. Maybe if you have an idea what kind of standard deck you're going to start playing, you know, just keep a little eye there, right? Under $1 from where? As I say this, I am not saying this due to, just a heads up, none of the stores that I mention are sponsors of myself, of the stream. This is nothing. There's no money exchange for me mentioning these names. These are only names I am mentioning because this is how I figured it out, and this is how I got the cards. You know what I did? Because I asked the same question of where do I get these codes? I literally just searched Pokemon TCG online codes, and I clicked the first couple of options. I looked at the ones available, I compared the prices, and I thought, hey, this one is slightly cheaper than the other. Is it you I'm looking for? Like ptcgostore.com is one that I have used. It's very straightforward. It's got a variety of codes. Some of the stuff is cheaper than the others. But again, shop around. Google's your friend. Talk to the community. There are a lot of people that are looking to help and get more people playing this game, especially over in quarantine. Pokemon has just kind of had, you know, it's definitely had a bit of a resurgence, albeit that resurgence coming from a variety of different fronts. And so, yeah, I'd give it a look. Give it a look around. Give it a Google. Do a little bit of research, but you can't go wrong with just a real easy Google search and finding something and saying like, well, this is 40 cents per code and the other store was 42 cents per code, but I'm here right now. So I'm going to click this one. And you know what? I'm okay losing the 40 cents in total or whatever it may be. And often these stores also give you bulk prices. So if you're buying like 50 codes or whatever, you can get a little bit of a deal off. And depending on how much you want to invest, it's pretty reasonable. I was totally comfortable with the amount of money that I put in to getting the cards that I want. There's also, I guess, deck boxes, sleeves, that kind of thing that you can do. The store has very basic stuff. A lot of deck boxes and sleeves and kind of like alterations come from the theme decks and the other kind of like prepackaged stuff. But I mean, honestly, if we open up, where are you? We open up the collection, click on gameplay. Are you going to show me? No. Like, one of the options they give you is the old Pokemon card back. And that's just hard to pass up. Why would I ever choose anything else? So that's one of the ways to get the cards, with the codes. That's kind of the storefront. Again, the Pokecoin up here. As you can see, this little thing is telling me about the bonuses for just logging in. You get the pack, you get the thing, yada, yada, yada. It tells you how long until the next time. The little event tickets you're seeing here that are called event tickets. Ooh, are you going to tell me? Come on. Pisscoin, Pokecoin. No! The little event tickets over there are used for, wait for it, events. You have a couple of events here. You have the theme decks. The BST over here is just saying battle styles. So basically, up to here, it's the battle styles theme deck. The entry requirement is 4 event tickets. It's single limb 3 rounds. They have 8 players, and you got some rewards. First place is going to get 3 booster packs and 200 trainer tokens, which I imagine are P coins. That's a bit of again, it's the 4 tickets that you get for just playing the game, and you get 200 coins and 3 boosters, each of which are worth 200 coins for winning 3 games. You look to the other ones, the 8 ticket entries for both standard, which we'll be playing on week 3, or expanded, which is the Blastoise Tin Fins environment. And you click on those, double the entry fee and the tickets, double the prizes. First place gets you 6 and 400 trainer tokens. But even if you just dirt out, you at least get something. You get 50 trainer tokens. Not ideal, but if you win a single game, you get 100 trainer tokens and 2 booster packs. So 500 total coins worth of stuff. So all you got to do is just win one. Yeah, as far as trading goes as well, because what would Pokemon be without trading? Here is the trading section. You can create a trade where it can either be public, as in, hey, anybody, I have this, who has the other thing? And then you trade. Or it could be private, as in like, hey, person who I'm a friend with on this game, I have this. I don't know why I'm whispering. When it's easiest for you, let me know. And you could just throw something up for trade, be it public or private. And then if somebody has what you want, they give it to you. It does the swap already. Does it automatically. It's great. As you can see, the trade partner, I'm getting this, I'm giving this, this is the thing, and this is where it ends. You click on like public offers, and it's going to give you all that jazz, right? Click on something, I don't know, what's this? This is a public trade. I am getting a booster pack, and I am giving 2 copies of this Jirachi that I have 4 copies of. Hands off my Jirachis. It's kind of, there's various stuff. The trade board and the public trade board is not the most ideal spot to be in. Sometimes you could just, again, you might have to apply a bit of a social element to it, but it's not the end of the world, especially because, you see a bunch of people just kind of making trades for things. They're giving up like here's one Jirachi, give me a pack, that kind of thing. So it's very simplistic. And And you can kind of see what they're looking for as well. You can kind of flicker between what you're giving, what you're getting, all that jazz. That's that, the that. I think that's mostly it. I mean, challenges, I guess, for the back end sort of thing. Yeah, it's very straightforward. It's, I have this thing and I want this thing. And you just kind of shout it out loud. Think of it like an auction, like a WoW auction house, or like you're just slapping it up on the bulletin board of, please give me this. If you have this, we can get this. Very straightforward. Are the various formats all pretty popular, or is there a premier format? So much like most games of this sort, digital or otherwise, there is going to be a format that gets pushed. That format is typically going to be, I don't know why I clicked on Trainer Challenge there. That format is typically going to be the format that has, well, take advantage of playing the newest cards. Standard, right? One neat thing about this game, though, about Pokemon, is that the standard decks aren't as, like, it's not as warping, you know? Like, if you think about something like Magic, and how a new set always feels like, very rarely when Magic sets come out, do you find that it's like, oh, this new set came out and it inserted an amount of, like, and a couple of new cards were printed that make new decks viable, and pre-existing decks get a little bit better, and not too much has changed, and everything feels great. I don't have to spend $1 million, but at the same time, I get to add new cards to pre-existing decks. That doesn't happen ever in Magic. No, you sit there looking at your decks, are like, okay, well, there are these cool new cards that I will not be able to play because Throne of Eldraine exists, because this is the rotation that exists, because this is what's legal, and this dictates everything, right? You definitely will get decks that are going to be a bit more dominant. For instance, I have a deck here that's called ADP. Please don't judge my list. I'm missing a card. I'm playing a Cramorant instead of an Aegislash. Maybe I can go up to 4 Zacians. Please don't judge me. I'm playing a deck that is called ADP. It's based off of Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia. This is a dragon type up in the top right corner. If you're familiar with these Pokemon, this is a god. The one over here is the god. It's a god. It's a god. It's the Pokemon god. And then these two are kind of Pokemon gods. One of them controls time. One of them controls space. They're pretty good. And this card's pretty good. This is one of the tag team cards. Right, this was out in one of the tag team sets. Shocking, I know, which is one of the older sets available in the standard rotation. But it also uses Zacian V, a card that came out in one of the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield sets. I believe just the base version of it. This card is also pretty good, right? It's also pretty good. It does things. It does things that kill people dead. It has an ability that really lets you just draw a bunch of cards, stack up on the Zacian, and hits like a truck. So these two cards, this is from an older set. This is from an older set, but kind of in the middle. And then you can just add on with stuff that is more recent, right? Like, this is like one of the best decks in the format, if not the best deck in standard. But there are different ways to build it, different little quirks, different kind of tech cards that you can play. You can mix the numbers up just a little bit, you know, that kind of stuff. There are decks that will change kind of, you know, drastically is not a good word for it, but they will change a lot based off of what comes out. So, for instance, Battle Styles, the newest set, as you've seen, there's a lot of large fighting bears, powerful fighting types. Fighting in both the video game and as well as the TCG is pretty good against dark types. The standard deck that got me back into playing the TCG beyond theme decks was this, a deck based around Eternatus V, which is a fighting type, but most importantly, Eternatus V Max, which is a dark type weak to fighting. And this one's also a dark type weak to fighting. So this is a deck that has kind of stuck around, but it's received new tools from newer sets, and it's also adapted in such a way to exist in a format where we just got a set that's about punching really hard, right? Also worth noting, for Gekyo Ryu that was asking about the codes that they provided, this is one of the cards that I got. Actually, both copies of the extremely cool version of my favorite card in the game came from codes that were given by viewers and community members. So thank you. It made the world for me. And yeah, you get this deck's about killing people dead, attacking for 1 million points of damage. And I get, my earlier build did not use Top Hat Wheezing or Little Baby Coughing. Gekyu Ryu, your codes gave me the Urshifu. I got the cool Urshifu from you. The alt art fancy schmancy one, which for those at home that are like, what are you saying? What's an Urshifu? Imagine what's an Urshifu and what do you mean fancy schmancy? Imagine if there's multiple artworks, finishes, and variety of levels for these cards for you to play, right? If I'm talking paper. So, imagine that $40 standard mythic, if the most expensive version of that was never $40. There was instead a $5 version, and then a $20 version, and a $40 version. You get what I mean? Pokemon does that a lot. Like these cards, you saw it on the bonus stream with Ben Ulmer, James, and I, where when James was opening physical packs, he was opening absolutely gorgeous cards and, stuff that looks like this, stuff that looks like this. He was opening these kind of cards that, just looking at them is cool, and they're pretty reasonable to pick up as far as monetary value goes. And they look pretty, and the monetary value isn't massive because, again, they do a pretty good job of making sure that there's a variety of levels for people depending on their commitment to the game, right? Depending on how much money they actually want to put into it and how fancy schmancy they can get. Like the Inteleon, you see all these rainbow versions of them and all that jazz. And this is just a dog, actually. But you get my drift. So yeah, the game is very easy to get into, right? You literally just pick it up and can start playing. Gives you 3 decks right away. Starts giving you cards immediately. It's really good at teaching you how to play the game. The levels in which you can get further invested, you get to really decide how into the game you want to be. I think it does a great job of doing that. Runeterra, Runeterra is phenomenal, right? It's an absolutely incredible game. And one of the only downsides of that game is that it gives you a lot. It gives you so much. And I'm not just trying to find a downside in this, but that can be overwhelming. If you just get into a game and you're not super familiar with what's going on, if in the first couple of hours of you playing, a game's like, hey, congratulations, here's your dust, and here's your coins, and here's a token for you to get entry fee, and also here's a wild card, and here's a different type of dust, but don't worry, this dust is only for cosmetics. And also, you got this event kill, and that means we give you this, and here's another trackable currency for this. That can be a lot. Right? That can genuinely be a lot. I find this game does a great job, the Pokemon game, does a great job of not overwhelming you and letting you dictate how much you get, right? And because not everybody needs everything. And if you decide you want something from it, I think you'll probably be comfortable making that small little investment towards it. I know I was. I know that for a while, my relationship with the game was, well, I'm going to play this on my iPad in bed, or I'm going to play this in the shower and destroy my iPad. And that was cool. That was fun. I enjoyed myself. And then as I was playing it more, even before this show was announced, even before this show was confirmed, I was like, these cards looking kind of cool. Because I started playing Pokemon 99. So again, using older cards from base set, jungle, fossil, that kind of stuff. And because I was playing that, and because, quarantine, I was getting more interested in this. And so I was able to come back to this game, have a pre-existing set of cards from just, showing some amount of interest, was able to be like, okay, I have some stuff already. I feel like I can make this amount of a monetary investment towards playing the game. And that was great. It felt very comfortable and natural to get back in. And I felt like the game did a great job of helping me get back into playing the game, knowing what's going on, and, tracking how things are done. This game's great. Again, it might be because... not on collection. It just might be because there's a deck that is a Blastoise Tin Fins deck that this scratches my itch and plays like everything I've ever wanted to play. And it might just be that I can boot this up, my brain just starts to fizzle for about 5 seconds, and then I can combo kill my opponent on one turn. And it does so using eggs, and one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It might just be because of this, but honestly, I've been playing more Pokemon TCG than any other card game. Like, I've been playing more Pokemon outside of, and not even outside of that deck, right? I've been playing Standard with the ADP deck. I have this deck that's based around Porygon and Cramorant. Basically, I'm using a cute little computer error to make my giant bird vomit as many things as it can, killing literally God, which is really funny to me, and it's really enjoyable. I have an Inteleon deck that I'm trying to build that I have a lot of different ways of, tooling it. There's a lot behind this game. If you have any amount of maybe I'll give it a shot, maybe I'll, at least play it a little bit, or even just give it a roll on the theme decks, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely worth doing it. And worst case scenario, if you're not completely, if it's not exactly what you want, or you don't have the time to do it, it can definitely just fill the role of, this is a thing I do while I'm in bed. This is a thing I do while, I'm not going to tell you play it on the toilet, but I'm just saying that you probably could maybe, So yeah, that's week one of the Pokemon TCG for Is This Your Card? Next week, we are going to be playing some of the theme decks. We're going to be hopping on the ladder, playing theme decks. We're going to be maybe hopping into those single elimination tournaments. And I'm going to have a special guest. We're bringing on Ben Ulmer, Bengineering. Maybe you've heard of him. Fellow Ben. Ben also likes Pokemon. So there are going to be two Bens. There are going to be two Bens that like Pokemon. There's going to be two Bens that like Pokemon playing Pokemon. And it's going to be a real blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Shocking, I know. Ben's going to be joining us for next week for the theme decks, as well as the third week where we're going to be playing Standard and going to be doing some ladders, and again playing with more competitive, built, tested decks. And then I don't have him booked for Blastoise Tin Fins because there's a lot going on, but who knows? Let's see. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to make any promises. That wasn't the plan, but who knows? Pokemon does things to people. This game means a lot of things to a lot of people, right? So who knows? Might bring in James for Tin Fins. Yeah. Oh, great. Cool. So with all that said, I'd like to thank the people that made this possible. Of course, we couldn't do this without your support over at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun. That's the name of the channel, Ben. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. You'll have to excuse me. I've been hitting the head quite a lot. Over at the Patreon, the support that we receive on the Patreon, it allows us to do this. It allows us to funnel as much money as we can directly into fake archetypes like Alakazam Ponza that Adam was asking about on Twitter. It allows us to have streams like this because of the lovely support that we receive from all of y'all. I believe that's the command, Boom Shakalaka. And of course, also couldn't do it without the support of the people that subscribe during this stream. Then I will read their names right now. Rust Pilot gifted a sub to Digging Flint. That feels wildly appropriate. Admiral Matt is back for the 66th month. Word Morgul is back for the 28th month. Hi there. Hey, how you doing? Zuniest is back for the 33rd month. Tranquil Calamity, my God, 27 months. It's weird seeing names I know and then time lengths. Wow. Ominously Ominous is back for the 74th month. Holy smokes. I Sit Content is a new sub. Welcome. Glad to have you. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Lying in Bed Mon, my favorite Pokemon, is back for the 40th month. I remember playing this game in the schoolyard. No one played. We just liked the cards. Honestly, that's also a large component. I'd be lying if a part of this isn't just looking at, like, I don't know, any of these cards. Look at this. This is art. This is art, whether you like it or not. And I love it. Digigoner is back for the 38th month. Played him back in base set. God, I'm old. Same. Shark Hero 08 is back for the 63rd month. Digital Dude, back for the 16th month. Gotta catch them all. Pokemon. Dark Morford is back for the 84th month. Lurfolks are the best like no one ever was. To catch them is... I'm sorry, it's not the lyrics I'm stumbling on. It's the effectively manhunting that I think we did that with Cars once. Muddy Thunder back for the 32nd month. Bong Jam and Weedler dishing out that Pokemon knowledge. I appreciate the accent over the poke. Very good. Hello. From the Viking Bear, back for the 15th month. Glad to have you. Glad you could catch. Don't think I don't see that Ursa ring there and that Umbreon. Good choice on the Umbreon. Best evolution, not close. Lonely Tex is back for the 60th month. Hey, Tex, how you doing? Never a better time to drop off the good old 5-year resub. Love to see it. Zeppelin is back for the 30th month. Dexter Kennedy is back for the 25th month. I'm doing all the math, by the way. I'm adding this all up. I'm at least at 80. Reinhard is back for the 68th month. Finally catching an episode of this live, albeit late. Also, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. For your birthday, I'll sing the entire poker rap. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Electrode. That's it. Keep It Lobster is back for the 51st month. Holy Sharpedo. I'm just going to do that a lot. Color Spike is back for the 11th month. Welcome back. Mr. Lecter, back for the 7th month. I see Dr. Lecter was your father's name. This is to support the ongoing war against Zack, the greatest enemy of our time. We need to band together and demolish the tyrant that is Zack and his deck of 5 different energy types. And Max Squizzy taking it home for the 47th month. And that's where you're wrong, Kaiba, because Saint Azor at Orzhovius, it sounds like Jay-Z's Orzhov cosplay. Get it? I don't. Is back for the full year. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the support, for all the subs, for all the tears, for all the tears of joy. I'm sure there are other kind of tears. I've lost count of all the tears. Tomorrow there's some other streams. Paul's playing Death Stranding, the first Strand-type game, potentially the only Strand-type game. I've tried to get a hold of Kojima. He has not returned my calls. That was a dog, not Kojima. I've missed an episode or two for Paul's playthrough. I wonder how many pizzas he's delivered. That's how you know Ben's a gamer. Also, the finale of Dice Friends Queer as Hell. That's a bunch of bards, all of them gay, all of them in hell, including me. I'm an elephant. It's great. We're helping a demon and we're fighting demons. And then also, James is going to attempt to escape from Tarkov. Little does he know, I've done something devious. I've actually placed a series of conveyor belts on the ground of Tarkov that if he steps onto one, he's unable to move. And in fact, he spins around and is not able to get off these belts until the belt has ejected him, thus making it impossible to escape from Tarkov, which is my lair. This is a Giovanni reference. Great. And with that topical and good joke, I'm going to go. I mean, I'm not going to go. I'm going to play more Pokemon, but I have to turn off the stream. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next week for Phase 2. Bye-bye.